You ain't got no Yeezy in your Serato?
K-Dot.
All right, Kendrick Lamar dropped a fucking album.
He dropped an album, it was
fucking incredible, is how I felt. Like, all right.
I found it to be quite mundane.
We already told you that's not a good thing.
Fuck. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was alright.
This nigga. All right, no.
It was cool. I liked it, but it left more. I think I wanted something else from it. Like there was something missing.
What?
He ain't black.
You ever seen that? You ever seen that fucking commercial with Kobe Bryant and Kanye West?
Yeah.
Where he was like, Kanye. You seen that commercial? Kanye West is talking
Different
to Kobe.
animal, but the same beast.
So Kobe Bryant is like doing a TED talk, and
Exactly.
Kanye West is in the audience, and he.
Which one am I in this analogy?
You're fucking Kobe Bryant, all right? Because Kanye West is like, I've broken every record there is to break. What am I supposed to do? And Kobe's like, break more records. And he was like, well, I've done this, and this. He's like, do more. My response to what you just fucking said is, what more does Kendrick have to fucking do?
It's not about achievement. It's about
No. About what other topic does he need to fucking talk about?
It's not about a topic. That's what I'm saying.
I say he not black.
But what is it?
I pulled over.
That statement is purely on either none of this made it onto my rotation of like shit I need to listen to on a regular basis. There's dope shit. There's he did a real good job of depicting the shit we went through for the last 2 years with the pandemic, and then even prior to now with like censorship and all kinds of other crazy shit, which is awesome. And he's really like, it's that next step, right? As an artist, but as a consumer, as a listener, I also want a song to just jam. Like, you know what I mean? Like when we going out to do some shit and I want to put on a fucking song, I have songs from his previous albums that do that. It's not his whole fucking album, but there are songs, and I didn't find that song here. That's the only thing. That's all I'm saying.
I saw a meme. It was like Kendrick Lamar talks about X, Y, and Z, all these like issues, but everyone is like, "Well, where's the song for the radio?" That's you. I'm gonna turn this way, nigga. When I heard "We Cry Together," I pulled the fuck over.
No, I feel you.
I couldn't.
That shit was crazy.
That shit.
It was intense. Well, I was in Target, and that song was playing, and she said, "You got a little dick." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like freaking out in the milk section. Like,
He thought he was gonna be doing all the talking this episode.
All right. So,
All right, go.
with the Kendrick album, right? Just looking at like the album as a whole, and then like even going back to the rollout and shit like that. One of the things that somebody pointed out, like he had released a letter talking about how he had been gone for 5 years. He'd been going through things, and then on I forget which song it is on the album. Like he starts out, he's like, "I've been going through things," and then
Yeah.
So yeah, right. So at the end of that letter, he signed it as like Oklama. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. If any of our folks out of Africa know how to pronounce it correctly, hit us in the comments, let me know. But basically that word that he was signing off as means my people. And when I hear this album and the subject matter that he was talking about, I was making a joke earlier saying like, oh, the reason why he wasn't fucking with it was because he ain't black. But
I see what you're saying.
But like with him saying my people,
It's not for me.
him saying my people,
that wasn't a joke. That's what she's.
no,
That's what he's saying.
I mean, I was joking. I'm joking about that because like when I feel like of course he was addressing us black people, but he's also addressing like the culture as a whole. like in hip hop culture, because like, you know, he's an ambassador of hip hop culture. If he's, you know, viewed as one of the top niggas, then, you know, he's an ambassador of culture. So he was addressing the culture and just talking about all these different issues, like Auntie Diaries.
Yeah, I was about to bring that fucking up.
That shit is crazy. I know they trying. There's certain folks trying to cancel him on Twitter because of a word that he uses a lot in that song.
But the very last line of that song.
Exactly.
They trying to cancel him for that?
Yeah, there's people. Yeah, because some people just feel like you should never use the word, no matter what point you're trying to make.
But he. Like I don't want to defend him or whatever, or seem like I'm okay with someone using that word.
Yeah, I can't tell nobody how to, because like that word isn't directed at me, so I can't tell the people who it's directed at how to feel about it.
Yeah, right.
I've seen some of them be like, nah, I get what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's other folks who don't fuck with it. So like I can't say anything about that, but just like for me as a listener, and somebody who I never have looked at myself as homophobic or transphobic or anything like that, but now having gotten older and having been around like more people and just learning more things, there's times where like I unknowingly participated in some shit that like wasn't necessary, that wouldn't make them comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't know if saying that some stuff didn't age well, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but like there's a lot of stuff, particularly in like freestyle battles and shit like that. Like I listen back now and they throw that word out so frequently. Yeah. And like I kind of hear it now and kind of cringe.
It's just,
but like that wasn't the culture of that not being a word, like a word, offensive word like that, you know, back then when they were using it.
And so like, you know, having that song and then like him talking about like his family members and like, you know what I'm saying? Like
my auntie's a man now.
Yeah. Like I got family members, like I have uncles who have passed away now, RIP, but you know, they was out here a part of that community and everything. Yeah. And like, shit, that's family. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like, so it's just relatable, and hearing it broken down like that in rap and like relating it to family and shit like that, and hearing like that and the way he broke it down, and then hearing him still express love for his family and shit like that. Like, it was just a dope song. And even though like that's not something that I like am, like I'm not a person who is trying to overcome homophobia or anything like that, or change my perspective or anything, but if I was somebody who was still using those words or doing different shit like that, and like Kendrick is somebody who I fuck with and I listen to that song, I'm gonna be like, well shit, you know what I mean? And I like that he gave that, just, and that's something that's been prevalent in our community, not just the hip hop community, but just the black community. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say that. I was about to say how it's crazy how some people might characterize that song as being like brave or like a risk to make, but like it shouldn't be, you know. But in our community,
it's
that
just
could
some
be
real
considered,
shit though.
That could be considered like, oh fuck, like he took a chance making a song like supporting that shit. Which is,
like, so you know what I mean. So just like from that perspective, as just like as somebody who's been an artist, and also just like a hip hop head, and like the way that I enjoy hip hop, to appreciate the artistry and the message, and then just as like a black man in America currently, a father, and just all of that shit, and growing up with hip hop, like it was really dope to hear the message on this album and what he was trying and what he was doing. I disagree with Jason as a consumer on a couple of counts. I feel like there are There are maybe, but then at the same time, it's subjective, right? Like, so it's what you like as a listener. But I feel like there are some records on here that are definitely like some radio records and some shit that like you could throw on it at a kickback or something like that, and it's not like crazy out of place. Like, I don't think there's a lot of them, but there's a couple. Silent Hill with Kodak Black. Especially if that hook, push these niggas on me like, push these like me. That I feel like I could see that going crazy on TikTok and shit like that. Let's see, there's another song on here.
I felt like while you're looking that up, I felt like me driving in my car to work over the past 2 days and playing that record was almost like that album was like almost like a therapy session for me.
Yeah. Well, it was so,
and I know it was a therapy session for him.
I was taking the less enthusiastic route because you both were like out the gate. I fucking love it.
Oh yeah, but no, I mean you gotta be. We need a contrarian.
There's things that I liked about it. You know what I mean? So it's not that I didn't like the record. As far as songs that I thought were close to what I felt like was a missing element. The placeholder for that, probably Count Me Out.
Count Me Out was one of my favorites.
Count Me Out is probably my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was grocery shopping. I listened to part of it on my way home from work. I stopped at the grocery store on the way home, and I was like, I don't want to stop listening because I was only like 2 or 3 songs in. So I put my headphones in, and when that song came on, I was like, I was like grooving to it. You know, I felt like the man. Like,
while you were in the cheese section.
Yeah. Well, no, by then I was in the meats, but. Pause.
He sets himself up.
But no, so I like there were things, and that would be my pick for like the bop, like that I would put on a playlist. It just as something that I can consume over and over and over again, right?
What about Purple Heart?
No, yeah. So I was Purple Hearts. That
I just felt like a lot. So what I found over and over again, listening to like the production, was I either heard a lot of violin, or a lot of vocals that were synthesized that sounded like violin. So I would say like almost half the record is probably the same type of mood. And that's what was not the drawback, because it's allowing him to tell his story. But I'm just saying, like, as far as like me picking out the one that I really fucked with other than that though was the first song, United Grief. And that was just like, I like when he does that like avant-garde jazz shit with like the fast rhythm beat.
That was crazy.
And he just goes after it.
But
like,
I feel
I like that shit. Like when I think of Kendrick, that's the kind of shit I think.
Oh yeah. No, I love that song, but I also feel like that song would be like the one that most people, like most mainstream people, would skip and be like, what the fuck is happening here?
I love that shit.
But I loved it. Yeah. But
and properly placed as the first song, just an intro for the fans that recognize that portion of his music experience, and then for the other motherfuckers, they can just move on to the rest of the album. You know what I mean? I think that's very appropriate.
But as far as like joints that I could hear like on the radio and I think could do well commercially, Die Hard, with Blast like on the hook and like the vocals and stuff like that, like I could hear that song like in Target. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but I could see that like just going, like, you know what I mean, like it just kind of like taking off. Like I said, Silent Hill, like I could see that taking off on Twitter. Push these niggas on me like come on, man. Push these niggas on me like push these niggas on me like, bro, I'm telling you that hook, like, bro, I'm telling you, niggas is already fucking with it. I already done seen it on like Mad Stories, like, so
I'm gonna post a story after this with that.
Father Time, I feel like that, and that because Sampha on the hook, like those vocals, bro, that's an earworm,
and it changed the kind of the tone of the record. I feel like so when it hit that point, things started to like lift a little bit.
Yeah.
So what I heard, and I probably should have tried to figure this out before, but maybe y'all heard it too. I was listening to someone on YouTube talk about this album, and so it's a double disc or like a double, like two different albums.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
And from what he said, and I don't know if this is true because, you know, I streamed it on Spotify, so it was all one thing, is that the first one goes like from negative to kind of positive or something along those lines. And the second one goes in reverse as far as like the mood or the themes of the songs.
Huh.
So I don't know how true this is because, like I said, I just listened to the whole, you know, whatever all in one go. But he intentionally placed songs on two different albums or two different discs.
Yep.
And there's some kind of
shit. Okay, so
this,
if that's true, and I didn't get to experience that portion of the album or the experience as a whole.
Yeah.
But I feel like that makes this even hyper. Like,
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what we was trying to tell you.
but you didn't experience that either. You was just riding.
No. So I was aware that it was two discs. I was aware that it was supposed to be two discs, and that like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Wait, and
those
what
are
was
two
the first song on the first, or what was the first song on the second disc?
First song on the second disc.
I don't know, Google man. What was it?
You was the one that watched the video.
First song on the second disc is "Count Me Out."
Oh shit!
See, and that's where the mood, and then so that was, he intentionally did something, and I like I said, I don't want to just quote what that guy said because I don't know, I didn't hear it in that way, but Kendrick specifically put songs on two different discs for a reason.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be something about the mood, allegedly.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and so like Mr.
dope.
Morale,
It's
the
dope.
Big Steppers, like there's a whole meaning. Like I think I feel like the first disc is the Big Steppers and the second disc is Mr. Morale, but I'm not sure. But
I can look it up, man.
but
I would assume it'd be the other way around because of the title of the album, but
right.
fuck do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. but yeah, so like that's like, so just as like just appreciating the artistry of what he did, the double disc, the messaging, the experimenting with different sounds. This album doesn't sound like
Anything?
any other album. There's nothing I can really compare it to.
That's true.
There's no, I don't think any other rapper on earth could have made this album.
Also
so
true.
like there's all of that. And then as just a consumer, a listener, like I said, I disagree with Jason, like not saying there weren't any bops on here. Count Me Out too. But yeah, so there was a few joints on here. I was like, oh, okay, I could hear this on the radio. I could hear this at the kickback and it'd be cool. So yeah, like I
just so.
But I mean, that shit is
think,
subjective though.
I know
like,
it's subjective.
Yeah.
I just think it's important. Is
No, I feel
the
you.
only reason why I highlighted that, because that was the only thing I felt that was lacking.
Yeah.
Because like the artistry part is great for the fandom, and it's part of being an artist, right? A musician. But as far as like where it fits in, like music is always meant to bring people together, right? So talking about different issues and stuff that are controversial, it walks that line. It could bring people together or it could divide people,
Yeah.
right? So the one thing that always brings us together is what? It's the bops.
Yeah.
It's the shit. You know what I mean? So I just think it's an important part of an album to have those one or two songs. And I guess you're probably right. There were those one or two songs there. I only picked out one as one that I really fucked with.
Yeah.
So it kind of, for me, I was like, I was hoping for maybe another or a couple more, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was super theatrical. And I don't think, did I make a reference to anything? I don't think I compared it to anything else. I couldn't think of anything for it.
It's not much. So, but speaking of that, so what do you think where do you think this lands for albums this year?
I mean, so far this year I think it's the best album I've heard in 2022.